All right, welcome back to another. Man, it's actually been a while since I've last done this, but welcome back to us talking about Chainsaw Man because something kind of crazy happened in this chapter, and honestly, with a lot of the chapters, but I just haven't been talking about it just because I haven't really felt like it, to be honest. But with this one, I'm gonna make the exception because I think this chapter is pretty crazy. You know, last time we talked, we found out that Fami wasn't really the Death Devil; she was the Phenine Devil, and yeah, it was pretty crazy because no one saw that coming. I really just did a Dragon Ball Z recap of this. But anyways, today we're talking about chapter 211. So if you're not caught up in the Chainsaw Man manga, do not watch this video because we're going to be talking about the latest chapter, at least when this is coming out, whenever this comes out. So, with all that out of the way, let's get on with it. So, last chapter ended off with Denji talking to fake Death Devil and her saying, "Oh, you can call me Lil D," which was definitely something because we were just sitting here like, "Why Lil D?" But she explains it in this chapter. But first, it starts off with basically Denji asking, "Yo, how did I get to this place?" And so she had she had Phenine Devil carry Denji here, and that's how he got to where he's at. And so Denji's like, "Bro, why is your name Lil D for?" And Lil D says, and I quote, "I'm the Death Devil, thus the name Lil D." And Denji is cringing at this. Bro's like, "Ugh,
Brother,
dude, you should have like a better name, bro, instead of like Lil D, like because." What do you mean by that? What do you mean by Lil D? Anyways, said that happened. Denji doesn't believe this because Denji was like, "Bro, there's no way that you're the Death Devil." Like, bro, man, what? No, you're not the Death Devil, bro. The chick who carried me here is supposed to be the Death Devil, not you. But yeah, and Lil D is telling Denji that Asa has gotten stronger because of like fear of war and stuff has gotten more prevalent. So War Devil's gotten more stronger than she anticipated. Denji asked, "Oh my God, Asa's alive, but where?" Lil D doesn't know, so she's like, "Bro, I don't know, bro." Yeah, so Asa is, well, not Asa, War Devil Asa is killing devil hunters so she can gather a devil army, which is, something. And then Lil D says that once Asa finds him, that she's going to turn Denji into a weapon, which, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's been teased and said for so long that I'm not going to lie. If it doesn't happen, it's like Chekhov's gun to where, like, it's been mentioned so much, and it's like, if it doesn't happen, then it's like, why bring it up so much? Because Asa has many chances to where she could have turned Denji into a weapon. She could have did it at the aquarium. She could have did it, I think, like 2 more times, but she didn't. Because, like, at the aquarium, she didn't do it because I think she wasn't strong enough. The second time, I think War Devil was like, "You know what? I don't feel like it." Or it was either the second time or the third time. One of those 2 times that happened. So, yeah, like, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know how I would feel if it did happen. I have a feeling that if this does happen, it's gonna be something to where it's like Denji will be a weapon, but he'll be able to get unturned into a weapon. I just see that happening in some way, shape, or form. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, so Denji was like, "Oh, all right, bro." Denji literally says, "Okay," and then Denji also says, "That sounds dangerous for us." So, or no, just that sounds dangerous for us. Wait, so if you're the Death Devil, what'll happen if death gets erased? And Lil D says that basically, if she were to get erased, no one would be able to die, and living creatures would cease to die from any and all phenomena, old age, and basically, it would be to a point to where no one dies. And Denji's like, "Wouldn't that be like awesome for everyone other than us?" And then Lil D says, "It's a nightmare scenario." Denji says, "Is it? World without death is the War Devil's goal." And we get the bombshell. I probably wrong thing to say, but basically we finally figure out what War Devil's trying to do. She's trying to start World War II, a never-ending World War II at that. So, because it hasn't been teased, but it's been said a lot about like what War Devil wants to do, and now we finally know that she wants to do a never-ending World War II. Undying humans in all parts of the world hating and hurting each other for eternity. That's War Devil's dream. So yeah, sounds pretty dark. Sounds pretty grim. I will not lie to you. I honestly, with Fujimoto, it's hard to say if this will happen or not because it's just hard to say if this will happen or not. But yeah, I was just like, because obviously I'm recording this on Sunday instead of when the chapter came out. I was sitting here, I was like, oh, okay, all right, awesome. So Death Devil says, originally my power was supposed to activate and wipe out mankind, but many efforts to set that prophecy changed the future into an even worse one. And I think she says, like, I feel like it's explained somewhere to where it was supposed to, her powers were supposed to activate at a random time, but yeah. So then she's like, bro, there's no way you're the Death Devil, dude. You're like some cringy girl, bro. There's no way. Yeah, you're like, dude, you're not the Death Devil. And then we hear someone says, she's really a devil, dude. And it's my goat. Sword guy. I don't remember his name. I don't remember your name. But, and then Denji says, it's some guy I've never seen before. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot your name. And I probably shouldn't because, you know, you're cool, but I really forgot your name. Yeah, so Sword Guy, because I don't remember your name, he's like, yeah, man, like, dude, basically, that's Death Devil, believe her, because we have to get ready for War Devil to get here so we can not all die, or, like, not cease to die, and, like, a World War II happens. And, Sword Guy says, Lil D, I bet he'll believe you if you show him your belly. And Lil D's like, oh, okay. So she does that. So she lifts up her skirt and shows, obviously, what we know, that she doesn't have a stomach because she, like, threw away her organs or something. I don't remember. That chapter came out a while ago. But she did something to where, like, she doesn't have a stomach. And Denji is over here pog facing. And the fact that they showed, like, Lil D's panties, like, in 3 different shots was killing me when I read this. Sword Guy's like, get it, Denji. She's the devil, and War Devil will be here soon. If you don't give the program, we're all screwed. You need to trust us. And Denji is still just like, bro's over here hitting the meme of the guy to where, like, he has his hands on his head, he's like screaming. Denji is literally doing that, like, for a entire spreadsheet. And Denji says, after, you know, pog face, he says, I'll trust you. And that's how the chapter ends. Now, I still just find it so funny that that's literally all it took for Denji to believe that Lil D is actually the Death Devil. Even though we do know that it's her, but it's just funny on how the Sword Guy was like, all right, bro, show bro your stomach, and then he'll believe you. And then Denji was over here fucking pog facing because he got flashed panties. It's just funny to me. The next chapter comes out in like 2 days, so we'll have to see what happens next. Do I think that we're gonna stay with the little D group? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know where we would go. I mean, obviously there is somewhere we can go. We can go to Asa's perspective, but I really don't know if we are. I don't know. I don't even know. No, I would like to, because I forgot that last chapter also was like singing like something in American. Well, that sounds. Hold on. She was doing something. Basically, she found out like American weapons were here, and she was like saying how she loved America or something, which is very funny. Let me see. What does Asa do last chapter? She did her own rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance. I hope I got that right. But yeah, so she's doing that. So I do wonder what happens now once we go back to her perspective. Um, so yeah, pretty crazy chapter. We now know War Devil's plans slash Asa because never mind. War Devil's plans because I don't want to get like doxxed for getting that mixed up. But yeah, we know what War Devil wants to do. She wants to start a never-ending World War II, and I do not know if that's gonna happen. Once again, if you read Fire Punch, then you know why I say that because it could happen. It could happen. Like it could happen, and the story could end with just Asa turning Denji into a weapon, War Devil turning Denji into a weapon, and then just like you know takes over the world with her undead army or some shit. It could be that, or it could be something else. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter. I see a lot of people talk about how like they don't like Chainsaw Man Part Two, and I really don't know why. Chainsaw Man Part Two's fine, like to me at least. I like Chainsaw Man Part Two. Like a lot of people are just saying like I've just seen tweets about this. I haven't like interacted with it, but I've seen people say like, "Oh, Chainsaw Man is falling off." I think it's really good, especially like the last two chapters have been really good. Like it's been good for a while now, and yeah, I'm excited to see where the story goes. I do not want to read theories because every time I read theories and the theories turn out to not be what happens in the show, it usually ruins stuff for me. This happened to me with Attack on Titan, uh, JJK so much. So I do not want to read theories because it's gonna mess up the way I feel about the show ending. So I'm trying to avoid those, but I am curious to see where this is all gonna lead to in the end. But we don't know when Chainsaw Man's ending either, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that'll do it for this one. What are you guys' thoughts on this chapter? Um, Denji pog facing near the end of it is still just so funny. But with that being said, thank you for listening, and we'll see when this gets uploaded. Depending on how bonkers the chapter is on Tuesday, I might just put these two together, or I might put this one out singly, and then just do another one later, but we'll have to see. All right, so we gotta talk about Chainsaw Man's chapter because this chapter was pretty crazy. It explains some stuff, and quite frankly, I have thoughts on it. So, spoiler alert for chapter 212 for Chainsaw Man. If you have not seen the chapter yet, which whenever this comes out, you probably should have. But spoiler alert if you haven't seen that, and let's just get this out the way. Okay, so chapter starts with basically sword guy. I still do not remember your name, but basically sword guy being like, yeah man, like bro, we need your help to stop the war devil from doing what she wants. And yeah, and sword guy tells Denji, hey bro, go sleep in the nurse's office and we'll wake you up when we're gonna do something. And Denji is laying in bed, and he's thinking about the kiss that him and War Devil shared, and him getting flashed by Lil D. And bro says, bro tries to jerk his shit in the office. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, bro was gonna jerk his shit. He was gonna do that. Until we see Fumiko under the bed being like, hey man, hey bro, you want me, you want me, you need a hand. And Denji, just like everyone who read the chapter, was like, bro, what are you doing here? Because I was not expecting Fumiko to be under the bed. I just thought, I don't know where this is going, but yeah, so she's here. Yeah, and then Fumiko is telling Denji like, yo, you do realize the Death Devil is using you too, like they're using you. And Fumiko asks, what do you think will happen if you defeat War Devil? Won't that trigger deaths won't that trigger Death Devil's wiping out mankind like in the prophecy? Whatever she says, at the end of the day, Death Devil likes death, which I mean, you know, you know what I mean? Her name is the Death Devil. It'd be kind of weird if she didn't like death. Unless Fujimoto makes like a plot twist, being like, oh no, secretly, this whole time, the Death Devil, in fact, did not like death. But I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, that happens. Denji was flabbergasted about how Fumiko was still alive, which I'm glad it gets explained. I'm glad that it does because I remember when that chapter first came out, people were like, "How is she still alive?" Like, bro, I don't remember how she quote unquote died, but it was something to where we're like, "Oh, okay, R.I.P. I guess." And she explains how she was alive, and so she says, and I quote: "At age 14, I made a contract with the STD Devil. With its power, any human who has sex with Fumiko Mifune becomes Fumiko Mifune in mind and body. After I made this contract, I did it all over the world. There's a Fumiko in every country. With all the chaos lately, my number of selves has steadily fallen, but we're still routinely exchanging information." So that was a shock because I remember people were making theories about like, oh, Fumiko made a contract with like a starfish devil. For I don't remember why people made that theory, but yeah, I was just so shocked reading that because I'm like, oh, okay. So someone made a theory about something too, and I do not remember what it said, but it was basically something. Damn, I don't remember what it is. I probably will just make a separate video on this, but yeah, man. So that's how Fumiko's alive. She has a contract with the STD Devil, which I didn't think that would be a thing in Chainsaw Man, but you know, this is Chainsaw Man, so anything's possible, I guess. Like, I have so many thoughts running in my head that I'm not gonna say, but it's just I was pretty bonkers. And then they talk more, and you know, let me just look at this. So they talk more. So Fumiko is basically saying that if Denji or the War Devil, but preferably Denji, were to eat the Death Devil, then mankind could live on forever. And then Fumiko says, besides Denji, why do you think you haven't been turned into a weapon yet? Referring to like the War Devil hasn't turned him into a weapon. And Fumiko says, well, we're all thinking, because she loves you, obviously. So yeah, it's not confirmed, but I mean, like, you know, like, also, sorry, War Devil basically saying, you know, Denji, I could turn you into a weapon anytime I want to, but then, like, not doing it is a sign that either Asa loves Denji or War Devil loves Denji, and one of the others taking over, and, like, now, you know, they both like Denji. You know, that's why. Because I'm pretty sure if this was some other individual, War Devil would have turned them into a weapon immediately. They wouldn't have waited, but yeah, since she likes Denji, that's why it hasn't happened. And then Fumiko says, in a world with death, you should definitely be able... In a world without death, you definitely should be able to secure a happy life with War Devil. And Denji blushes because bro likes Asa. I mean, like, you know? And yeah, so basically, man, Denji's just being pulled all over the place. He's being pulled by War Devil, he's being pulled by Death Devil, and now Fumiko. And so Fumiko's like, you know, man, when you achieve this, just, you know, tell War Devil, hey, don't mess with Fumiko, you know, because I'm just a girl who's all over the world. You know, just don't do that. That would be cool. And then Denji even says, like, bro, you're using me too. And Fumiko says, all right, bro, I'll give you this. I'll give you this. I'll give you I'll give you a pic of me, nude, and then bro dips. Fumiko leaves. Like, that's how the chapter ends. I imagine Denji's gonna jork it to the to the picture, and that's how the chapter ends. So once again, the explanation of the devil that Fumiko has is definitely something crazy because I don't think nobody ever saw that being her contract. And it's just crazy to just think that, bro. Which I mean, it's just crazy to think about that. That's her contract. So, like I said, there was a theory that someone made about this, and it was like, basically, if Denji would have did it with her in the movie theater, would he have became Fumiko? And we don't know. We don't know because obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, man, it's just crazy because, like I said, Denji's being pulled from all sides, and I do wonder what he's gonna decide to do because, on one hand, if he can cooperate with the War Devil and defeat the Death Devil, and they can live together happily ever after, if Fujimoto doesn't say, you know what, instead of like Asa and Denji having a happy ending, the series ends with both of them or one of them dying. Could be that. If he cooperates with the Death Devil, then I don't know, she could like eat Denji and then have him be under her control and like I don't know. I don't know. He's being pulled from all sides, and I do wonder what side he's gonna pick. And yeah, that was just such a crazy, not plot twist, but just a crazy meaning for her powers. And now I do wonder, when are we gonna know what Kenobi's devil contract is? Because we still don't know. Granted, we haven't seen Kenobi since part one, but I just want to know what her devil power is. Her devil power? Her contract is. Sorry, I'm thinking about One Piece. I just want to know what that is because there's a reason why Fujimoto hasn't revealed it. Because he could be saving it for later, or he could have just forgotten about that. He could have been like, all right, guys, I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to leave this ambiguous for a very long time, and then the series can end and we still don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. So yeah, Fumiko made a contract with the devil at 14 to basically populate the world with her. Pretty crazy. I will not lie, was not expecting that. But then again, this is Chainsaw Man, the same author who made Fire Punch, and if you've read Fire Punch, you know what that means. But yeah. Let me know what you thought about this chapter down in the comments below. What side do you think Denji's gonna pick? Do you think Denji or Asa or both are gonna die at the end of the series? I don't think both are dying, but I do think one of them will / might. But we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, that'll do it for this one. I truthfully cannot believe that is Fumiko's devil contract.